Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr.
I'm sorry that I'm late. I have no excuse. My excuse today is not a valid excuse. So I'm really sorry. I got sick in school and I got a shot in the morning and that made me sleep. The doctor told me, go home and you have to sleep. And I woke up very late, very late. So I have no really excuse. I'm sorry. And I got really nervous. You know, when I am nervous, I cannot write. It's difficult for me to write
Why nervous?
because I'm late. Because I'm late without a reason. That's the situation. Now, if I had a reason, probably I would be nervous, but just nervous of being ashamed. But right now, I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. The word we saw yesterday. I know it was with the other group. Uh, that just please understand me. I try to be responsible. The company is responsible with me. I have to be responsible with the company. And other times I had reasons because like yesterday, for example, the electricity went, I don't know how many times. It went off and then on and went off and went on again and like that. So um, I entered late and nothing was ready. Like everything that I had ready was no, not ready. That's the word. It was not ready. I'm saying something ready, but nothing was ready. And so right now, I was late is that a friend of mine went to England and a relative of his came and he was asking about what I knew. The relative didn't know that his cousin had gone to England. So I just told him whatever I knew. So would you please forgive me? I apologize with you girls. And I am missing Fernando, right? I was supposed to write to him today and I didn't write to him. And there's my cell phone on the right. I'm asking what happened, why he did completely inactive, became inactive. He was so good. He was very good. I have a nephew in Ohio, and since about 6 months ago, he calls me almost every day. Fernando José Suazo, I think that's his name. Fernando. I will call Erimar. Maybe she can get connected today. Yeah, Fernando José Suazo Rivera. I hope he answers. The other one that told me that she was connected this week was Maria Luisa and his daughter. I will show you today. There is a store, a series of books. So, there's a series of books called Anne of Green Gables. That is, they were written close to Canada. And there's another group of a series of other 7 books that are called The Little House on the Prairie. Maybe you've heard about the Familia Ingalls. Have you heard about the La Familia Ingalls? And you? La Casita de la Pradera. I'm sorry? Where are you? Where are you?
No, I don't heard.
Doing what? I'm sorry. One student of mine is Anthony. What happened, Anthony? Internado. ¿De qué? ¿De qué? ¿Es enfermo? No te creo. Avísale a mi Ellen. Porque mañana te ponen el examen de matemáticas y no vamos a poder estudiar nada. Vas a volver a darles un punto, como decís vos, que manejas un puntito. Te hablo más tarde, estoy en clases. See you, bye-bye. I know, that's why I asked you, we have to be studying. Te hablo más tarde. He has a math exam tomorrow. He needed to be prepared, and every day he has been giving me excuses, and telling me that he will connect with me from here, from my house. I told him I need to connect with him tonight, later on tonight, but so okay, I was telling you about those 2 series of books. Hello, Edimar. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm okay, thank you. I miss your daughter. Say hello to her for me, please. I know she's working. I know she's working. I'm just saying hello to her. Eso es, me da saludos.
Okay.
Say hello to her. Say hello to him. Yes, me da saludos, por favor.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I was telling the other students that there is a series of books called The Little House on the Prairie, written by Laura Ingalls Wilder. I don't know how many of you have heard about Laura Ingalls Wilder and The Little House on the Prairie. Okay, she wrote this series of 7 books. Let me see if we can share something through the, oh, he gave it to me in Spanish. I don't need it in Spanish, in English, yes. And now I won't forget to share screen with you. We'll practice a little bit of reading and listening, and maybe if you want to share, you want to read, you want to give opinions. Okay, this is Laura Ingalls Wilder. She lived in the time that the colonies were moving to the West. Maybe you have heard about the conquest of the West, La Conquista del Oeste. Have you heard about that? Never? Just tell me, no, mister, we haven't heard. Or yes, I have heard.
No, no, I haven't heard.
No, I never.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then let me give you a little history of the US. I'm gonna stop sharing screen and I'm going to open another page with a little history. The history of the creation. Who has read the Popol Vuh here? Nobody? Really? Nobody has read about the Popol Vuh? Do you know what is the Popol Vuh? Okay, the Popol Vuh is the story of the creation of the earth, but the Mayan version, the version of the Maya. And you know what makes me happy, what makes me ecstatic, very happy, is that they compare the Popol Vuh with the Greek mythology and also with the Roman mythology. So that makes me feel like, wow, they consider this something really nice. Okay, we will see a couple of cartoons about the creation of America because I want to connect the whole thing to this next part that I'm going to introduce to you and other ways to learn English with the intention that since this course is over next week, we just have the rest of this week and the following. And the following depends on what happens on Sunday, you know, right? Oh, even though I think we can connect. I would, yeah, in school, yes, because students were coming to school. We were going to school every day. They already told us that we will go to school until this Thursday. And then we don't show there on Friday, Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And on Tuesday, we will start again classes like this via internet. Because we don't know what's going to happen on Sunday. And they already announced that the all following week is we're going to be teaching from home. And with you guys, we have the last classes in the evening. We finish on Friday, December the 3rd. That is the last day of classes. So I'm giving you ideas on how to continue going on during December in moments that you have time to look for conversations, to imitate conversations, to repeat conversations, so you keep alive the language, you keep on talking and learning. So when we meet again in January, we meet in a joyful way, in a nice way, like we are ready to continue conversations. Okay, this is in cartoons, some of the ways that the United States was created. Here says a brief means short, little, that doesn't last long. A short history of the USA, Bowling for Columbine, Michael Moore. I don't really know. If he has any bad words, please forgive me. I haven't seen this. I just chose it because it doesn't last 3 minutes and 14 seconds because it's short. That's why I chose it.
Now it's time for a brief history of the United States of America. Hi, boys and girls, ready to get started? Once upon a time, there were these people in Europe called pilgrims, and they were afraid of being
Oh, I think he's going too fast. He says, once upon a time, there were a people in Europe called pilgrims. And these are the pilgrims, the ones with the hat. You have seen these hats, right? Have you? Yes, mister, no, mister. Have you seen these hats? ¿Han visto esos sombreritos para Día de Acción de Gracias? Este jueves es Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Okay.
persecuted. So they all got in a boat and sailed to the new world where they wouldn't have to be scared ever again.
Oh, I'm so relaxed. I feel so much safer.
But as soon as they arrived, they were greeted by savages, and they got scared all over again. So they killed them all. Now, you'd think wiping out a race of people would calm them down, but no. Instead, they started getting frightened of each other. Witch! So they burned witches. In 1775...
That's true. They are going really fast, but yeah, that's true that there was a moment when they were accusing one another of witchcraft. Like if you had some skills, like you could do math like fast in the air without using paper and pencil. You know, there's always this kind of children and adults that they can do not only math. There are little children that learn all the capitals of all the countries in all the world, and they are 3 or 4 years old. So they accuse them of being witch. And if you were a witch, they burn you in a bonfire. And you saw bonfire.
They started killing the British, so they, in 1775,
This is a bonfire, una fogata. Okay?
they started killing the British, so they could.
Okay, the British never stopped coming to America. They always, the King George, always were sending soldiers to America. They started a war that was called the Continental War when these people declared independence. This was in the year of July the 4th, 1776. These colonists, they were from the same country. These guys on the left with these guys with the red caps, they are the same people. They are English. But these on the left with colors, they were the colonists, the ones that had come in the boat, the Mayflower. There were two groups that came, the Pilgrims and the Puritans. The Pilgrims were more friendly, nicer, but they were more naive. Naive means inocentes, ingenuos, más bien ingenuos. Naive, oh, again, why it doesn't write if I am writing? Naive. Naive means ingenuous. So these were the Pilgrims, or what they call them in Spanish, the Peregrinos. The other group that came, they were the Puritans. Puritans. In Spanish, it's easy to understand, they were los Puritanos. The Puritans, they were harsh. Harsh means like strict. And they were more or less, I would say, like evangelicals or evangelists. And they wanted everybody to practice the religion of evangelism. And it happened that these people, the first ones that escaped from England, were escaping from that exactly. The King George of England wanted to force them to be Catholic, not Roman Catholic, Anglican Catholics. And they wanted to be free. That's why they decided to look for better lands, more lands, better places, and they traveled the ocean. The first ones to come to America by the Atlantic Ocean, crossing the Atlantic Ocean, were the Portuguese. After the Portuguese, the Portugueses, with Vasco de da Gama, the second group was the Spaniards, with Christopher Columbus and many others. Hernando Cortés, Francisco Cabeza de Vaca, and many others. The third group were these ones, the English. And after the English, the fourth group were the French. So in the right order, the first people who crossed the Atlantic Ocean to come to America were first, the Portuguese. But why they don't claim that they have discovered America? Because the Portuguese got into very strange practices. They didn't claim the land for anybody. They were just like adventurous. And let me tell you something. Let me ask a question. Are you listening to me?
We are what? Excuse
Are
me?
you listening to me?
Yeah.
You are listening, okay.
Yes.
It's merely history. Before the Portuguese, before, there was this guy called Leif Erikson. Leif Erikson was from Scandinavia. Ah, se borró lo otro. Bueno, ni modo. I know that's a price that I have to pay. But everything erases. Okay? I hope this lets me, yeah, it lets me right. Leave Eric, son, of course he was not alone. Okay, he was coming with a group of people from Scandinavia. Where is Scandinavia? Scandinavia is these countries that are in the very north of Europe, like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland. What else? Well, only those three I know, but I remember. My goodness. Ya me estoy haciendo muy viejito. Okay, so Leif Erikson came from Scandinavia, and he was the first one to see Canada. He landed on Canada, just saw it, but he didn't like what he saw, and simply saw it and went back again. He was the first one, he and his people, his crew, él y toda su gente que andaba con él, were the first ones to go around South America. They passed by all the Atlantic Ocean, all the way down to Cape Horn, Cabo de Hornos, Argentina, turned the way around, and when they reached Florida, they sailed back to Europe, to North Europe, home. So Leif Erikson was the first one that saw Canada in America. In that moment, there was a land bridge. A land bridge es como lo dice la palabra, ¿verdad? Un puente de tierra. Pero en este caso, land bridge. Ok, bridge, esta parte es puente. Un bridge, un puente. Y land, de tierra. Pero no era de tierra, era de hielo. Es ese land bridge, I will read it unequal, but it doesn't mean that that's the same, is what we know called the Bering Strait. The Bering Strait. Do you know what is the Bering Strait in Spanish? Does anybody know what is the Bering Strait?
No.
No? Okay. Asia and America are separated by this strait, el estrecho de Bering. Okay, Bering Strait or estrecho de Bering is in Alaska. Okay, and it separates America from Asia. And it is supposed, they suppose that the first inhabitants of America, lo que son los nativos indios de todo Norteamérica, los Navajos, los Apache, los Miami, los Marlins, los, ¿qué más? Mohawk, los Cahukians, bueno, son tantas tribus. They suppose that they came through the Bering Strait when it was not the strait, when it was the land bridge. Okay. It's what they believe that this is the place that they traveled through to America, through this land bridge. Okay, I have a picture of the Bering Strait here. Maybe it can apply more. I hope it comes the picture and not a bunch of words. Oh, el estrecho de Bering, sí, pero no queremos ver la vida real. Queremos ver el dibujo. Eso. Okay. This St. Lawrence Island. Do you see this island here? It's one of my gimmicks. Miren esa isla que puse en el cuadrito amarillo.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Se supone que esa isla de St. Lawrence es este pedacito que falta aquí, lo que creó ese estrecho. Este es el estrecho de Bering. Si se fijan, acá está Rusia y aquí está Alaska. Entonces, el paso es realmente pequeño comparado con el gran océano, los mares, etcétera, Atlántico, Pacífico. Es un pasito. Se supone
Pero
entonces,
pero ese estrecho se construyó de tierra o el sol o con...
no, era esta isla de San Lorenzo, Saint Lawrence, esa isla se supone que estaba aquí y que era tierra congelada, completamente congelada. Lógicamente, ahí se ve chiquito, pero eso tiene kilómetros de ancho.
Sí, sí.
Largo
Puede
también.
ser hasta más grande que un país de aquí, de Centroamérica.
Exacto. Entonces se supone que de aquí, de Asia, recuerden que Rusia tiene una parte en Asia y una parte en Europa. Por los montes Urales hacen una separación. Los montes Urales pertenecen completamente a Rusia, pero hacia la derecha de los montes Urales está Asia y hacia la izquierda de los montes Urales está Europa. Entonces, toda esa parte de los montes Urales, Ural Mountains, se llama Eurasia, o sea, Eurasia. ¿Okay? Y eso no solo incluye Rusia, también hay un país que se llama, ya les digo, Georgia. Hay un país que se llama Georgia, que también un pedazo de Georgia y otro más. ¿Cómo se llaman estas novelas que les dije yo? Que te mencioné, Senet, la de Fatmagul, turcas, ¿ok? Turkey tiene un pedacito en Europa y la mayoría en Asia, aunque está considerado más del Medio Oriente, en realidad geográficamente pertenece a Eurasia. Bien, sigamos con la historia de Estados Unidos. Entonces, a través de este land bridge, de esta isla de St. Lawrence, si lo pudiera trasladar, yo si pudiera cortar este pedacito y trasladarlo, pegarlo aquí y decir, esto era lo que había aquí. Entonces, eso se creó este estrecho, el estrecho de Bering. Está el estrecho de Magallanes, allá por España, en Europa. Esa es otra cosa, otra historia.
Hay otro estrecho que le dicen de Gibraltar,
El
parece.
estrecho de Gibraltar también, en Europa, correcto. Muy bien. Ha estudiado mucho usted, Mar. Muy bien, la felicito.
Algo.
Me voy a casar con usted, oiga.
Está bueno,
Vamos a ser maestros los dos.
¿verdad?
Bueno, entonces, por aquí se supone que pasaron los primeros nómadas, los primeros habitantes de América, los verdaderos primeros habitantes de América, a esta parte congelada de Alaska. Imagínense que todo esto es Alaska, todas estas islas aquí abajo son parte de Alaska. Estas islas aquí abajo son parte de Alaska. Entonces, cuando los peregrinos llegaron, ya encontraron bastante gente aquí, ya encontraron, como les mencioné, a varias de esas tribus. Me sé por lo menos 20 nombres, pero se me olvidan. Si los leo me acuerdo inmediatamente, ¿verdad? Pero así como a memoria de viejo puedo recordarles por lo menos 5. Los Mohawk, los Apaches, los Miamis, los Marlins, los Navajo, los Cahukians, los Aleut, ya van 7, los Pueblo, había una tribu que se llamaba los Pueblo, 8, a 8 llegué, no me acuerdo. Todas esas tribus ya existían aquí cuando llegaron los peregrinos, los pilgrims. ¿Sí? Entonces, los peregrinos eran nice people. They were very friendly, and they made friends with all the Native Americans. That's what they call them, Native Americans. Native Americans que cuando los ingleses llegaron y conquistaron, ¿verdad? Son ellos. Hicieron las 13 colonias ahí de Nueva York para ese lado del este de Estados Unidos. Me perdí. ¿Qué iba a decir? Ellos se creen dueños de la tierra. Los gringos, con el tiempo, fueron arrinconando a estas tribus y les hicieron unas reservaciones. Se llaman así reservations. En esas reservations, le hicieron reservations para cada tribu. Claro, son extensiones inmensas de tierra que incluyen montañas, ríos, valles, o sea, grande, pero tienen límite. Tienen límite. Y en esas reservaciones o reservations viven esas tribus. No sé si se acuerdan cuando Trump empezó con su hostigamiento de sacar a los latinos, de sacar a los indocumentados, y que dijo que pues ellos eran los dueños de la tierra, y que no sé qué. No sé si se acuerdan que hubo un indio, creo que era un indio navajo, que se fue a parar al portón de la Casa Blanca, no entró, no lo dejaron entrar, pero desde ahí le gritó a Trump, y lo grabaron cámaras de televisión y radio y todo, y él le dijo, ¿de qué tierras estás hablando? Si estas tierras realmente son nuestras. Nosotros estábamos aquí siglos antes de que tu abuelo suplicara por refugio, creo que le dijo, por refugio en esta tierra, porque él por mal portado iba a ser expulsado de esta tierra, pero él pidió perdón y por ese perdón que pidió, dice, se quedó y por eso estás tú aquí. Ahora tú no vengas a decirle a la otra gente que no vengan, porque tú eres y le dijo también, eres inmigrante al igual que todos ellos. Dice que Trump ese día no durmió, porque no pudo contestarle, porque el invito se fue. Él solamente llegó, pronunció eso salen todas las cadenas televisivas gringas, etcétera, y lógicamente Trump lo oyó. Pues bien, pilgrims. I'm sorry, it was a bit crazy, but I'm just trying to illustrate more the language.
Y aprendemos de historia también.
Yeah, but you're learning more of the language that you are studying here. Okay, so el Estrecho de Bering, la primera gente que vino a América, los peregrinos, los puritanos eran más exigentes. ¿Han escuchado ustedes hablar de la letra escarlata? ¿Alguna vez? La letra escarlata era una letra que se colocaba en el pecho a la persona que encontraban en pecado, que las autoridades puritanas consideraban pecaminoso, especialmente si era una violación a la castidad. Si un hombre estaba con una mujer que no era su esposa, o una mujer con un hombre que no era su esposo, tenían que usar esta letra escarlata, esta letra en el pecho. Esa letra le decía a la gente que no podían hablar con él o ella. Estas personas llegaban a comparar a los lugares en silencio agarraban sus cosas, en silencio pagaban, si tenían vuelta en silencio, agarraban su vuelta y en silencio se iban. Nadie los podía visitar, nadie les podía hablar, hasta que al gobierno allá se le ocurría darles un perdón, porque ni para eso tenían permiso de hablar, ni para pedir perdón. Entonces, sí, la historia de Inglaterra es una historia muy extensa.
Era estricto entonces ahí.
Sí, los puritanos, Pensilvania se formó por William Penn. William Penn le pidió permiso al rey George porque no le gustó cómo lo trataban los puritanos. Entonces él se fue de ahí y a la tierra a donde se fue, le pidió permiso al rey de Inglaterra y él fundó el estado de Pensilvania a nombre de William Penn. Lo mismo pasó con Anne Hutchinson. Anne Hutchinson se les reveló también a los puritanos y les dijo que estaban oprimiendo a la gente, que estaban haciendo lo mismo que hacía el rey George. Entonces la expulsaron de ahí y ella se fue para donde William Penn. Y entre ella y William Penn fueron fundando, haciendo más grande Pensilvania. Un estado hermoso donde se dio a cabo el final de la guerra civil americana, la guerra civil gringa. La guerra civil terminó entre el 16 y el 19 de noviembre de julio de 1863. Exactamente 87 años después de la declaración de independencia que se dio el 4 de julio de 1776. 12 años después, 1788, en noviembre, se llevaron a cabo las primeras elecciones porque en ese mismo mes, en octubre, al final de octubre, el estado que se llama ahora New Hampshire, que ya pues desde ese tiempo ya se llamaba la colonia de New Hampshire, cerquita de Nueva York, ratificó la Constitución. Eran 13 colonias y necesitaban la mitad más uno. Quitémosle 1 a 13 y dejemos 12 colonias. 2/3 de de esas 13 colonias, de esas 12 colonias sería 8, ¿verdad? 4 más 4 más 4. Entonces 2/3 serían 8.
Son 12, sí.
Más 1, 9. Entonces necesitaban 9 colonias para hacer la mayoría y ratificar la constitución que los declaraba como una república nueva. Ya independientes eran, y eso ofendió al rey George de Inglaterra, que se declararan libres e independientes el 4 de julio de 1776. Y desde esa fecha comenzó lo que se llamó la Guerra Continental, que es donde paré yo en los pichinitos, en la Guerra Continental, cuando los colonos estaban agarrando con los Red Hats, con los soldados británicos. ¿Ok? 12 años después, ¿verdad? Ellos, como les repito, en octubre de 1788, se ratifica Estados Unidos como una república a través de la firma de los líderes de esas 9 colonias para ratificar la Constitución. La Constitución americana solamente tiene 7 artículos. ¿Ustedes saben cuántos artículos tiene la Constitución hondureña? They have a right to be heard. They have a right to speech. And so they can be presented before a judge. And you explain the judge, see, I am coming from Honduras because in Honduras, I was almost killed. And you can see, look, I have a bullet in here, I have another bullet here, look in my head, I have another, I almost got killed, plus, and you have letters. Look, all the letters that the Mareros sent me, telling me that they will kill me and my family. Look at these drawings when they drew my mom and my father killed. And I have this recording, and you go to your cell phone, listen to the threats they gave me, and the judge listened. And if the judge doesn't understand Spanish, that most of them do now, they give them, or they give you a translator. They always give you a translator. And so you have the right to be heard and explain why you have gone in this caravan. And they decide it's a prerogative of the United States of America to let you in or not let you in. They have done some brackets. They have done some brackets. For example, from 2011, from 2011 to 2016, all those 6-7 years, you could go to the borderline of the United States with a baby in your hands, and you were put inside the country immediately. They let you in, and you were admitted in the United States with that many paperwork. They took your name, they took your name, the name of your baby, with birth certificates, and where you were going, you needed to have an address where they can find you, even though it was a lie. Many people wrote real addresses. They were real, but they were not staying there. They were not living there. They maybe gave an address in Miami and they were living in Minnesota, or they went to Seattle or whatever, okay? But they needed to write this, and Trump caught it before he left the government. He caught it. Biden opened it again for a while, for a little while. In fact, my neighbor, 3 houses from here, left with his baby boy, and they are in Seattle. They live in Seattle now. He took what, 27 days to go from Choloma, from Cerro Verde, to Seattle, the United States. 27 days. They didn't ask him for much. Now the borderline is closed again. It's closed, and now you need to go again before a judge, and they study your case, and they tell you that your case goes into file in a line, and like in here, like the courts in Honduras, you have to wait until the judge calls you. And meantime, you're living in that piece of land that I told you, that they cannot take you away from there because it doesn't belong to Mexico, it doesn't belong to the United States. I call it nowhere land, la tierra de nadie. And that exists in every borderland. Between Nicaragua and Honduras, there is a piece of land like the same. In El Florido is the size of a football court. El Florido, between Guatemala and Honduras, is a football court. The half of the football court is Guatemala, and the other half is Honduras. El Salvador has also, but they are small. There are small pieces of land, but they exist. Okay, many things that you've learned. Merely historical things. Okay, I will not stop it anymore.
Genius idea of slavery. You see, boys and girls, the white people back then were also afraid of doing any work. So they went to Africa, kidnapped thousands of black people, brought them back to America, and forced them to work very hard for no money.
¿Qué es eso? ¿Qué están viendo?
Esclavización a negra.
Ajá, esclavización, slavery. Slavery was what President, the one that they say is a vampire, Abraham Lincoln had to face. Okay, you saw that because they had a lot of land, and this is the southern states. They saw that they could grow. Look, they could grow even in cups.
Of doing any work. So
Ellos podían plantar en lo que fuera, pero está hablando de los estados del sur, de las Carolinas, de Mississippi, de la Florida, Texas, que tienen bastante sol, entonces la temporada de siembra y cosecha es larga. Entonces necesitaban esclavos y se fueron a traerlos
they went to Africa, kidnapped
a África.
thousands of black people, brought them back to America, and forced them to work very hard for no money. And I don't mean no money like I work at Walmart and make no money. I mean $0, nothing, not a zip. Doing it that way made the USA the richest country in the world.
Está diciendo que esa es una de las razones por las cuales Estados Unidos se volvió uno de los países más ricos del mundo. One of the richest countries in the world, because they didn't pay the workers. They were selling, producing, planting, harvesting, and not paying the workers.
So did having all that money and free help calm the white people down? No way. They got even more afraid. That's because after 200 years of slavery, the black people now outnumber the white.
After 200 years of slavery, the black people started to fight for their rights. And we have heroes among these people. We have, for example, Dr. We have Rosa Parks is one of them. Mary McLeod Bethune. We have Washington, the president, George Washington Calvert. The George Washington was the president, the white. But John Washington Calvert was a black slave descendant that was a scientist, and he was really, really great. Martin Luther King was the one that I wanted to say in the beginning. So you have many heroes there. Many of them died. For example, Martin Luther King was killed. He got killed in a theater after a meeting. The whites have what can I say? It's like a fraternity or a club. I don't know how to call it. The Ku Klux Klan. Have you heard about them?
No.
Never heard about the Ku Klux Klan? I'm not sure that I wrote it properly. So sorry if I wrote it wrongly, but the Ku Klux Klan is a group of people, of whites, completely whites, that believe that they are the only ones that have the right to live in the United States. And they kill people who is not white. Wikipedia is going to show us a couple of pictures. That's not what I wanted to go to, but The Wikipedia has a lot of information. Look. Oh, it's only Ku Klux Klan. I wrote an LX right here. The Ku Klux Klan es un grupo de odio supremacista blanco estadounidense, conocido por promover por medio de actos violentos y propagandísticos el racismo, la xenofobia, ¿sí? Es el rechazo u odio al extranjero o inmigrante. El antisemitismo, en sentido amplio del término, hace referencia a la hostilidad hacia los judíos, basada en una combinación de prejuicios de tipo religioso, racial, cultural y étnico. ¿Sí? Así como la homofobia hace referencia a la aversión hacia la homosexualidad o contra hombres o mujeres homosexuales. El anticatolicismo se denomina anticatolicismo a la oposición al catolicismo. Y el anticomunismo es la oposición política e ideológica al comunismo. ¿Sí? El Ku Klux Klan se opone a todo eso. El primerito, racismo, xenofobia, antisemitismo, anticatolicismo, anticomunismo, creado en el siglo XIX, o sea, en los 1800. Ya desde el tiempo de Abraham Lincoln ya habían los primeros miembros del Ku Klux Klan. Inmediatamente después de la guerra de secesión. ¿Okay? La guerra de secesión es la que, bueno, ahí dice, fue un conflicto bélico librado en los Estados Unidos desde 1861 hasta 1875, como resultado de una controversia histórica sobre la esclavitud. La guerra estalló en abril del 61, cuando las fuerzas de los Estados, bueno, la Confederación contra la Unión. La Confederación eran los estados del sur, ojalá no me equivoque, que eran todos los estados que tenían esclavos. Y en la parte del norte, donde estaba Abraham Lincoln, no porque él fuera el presidente, sino porque él era de uno de esos estados del norte, comenzaron esa guerra. Guerra civil porque es dentro del mismo país, pero el verdadero nombre es la guerra de secesión. Secesión porque los estados del sur, the southern states, seceded or rejected the union. They got out of the union. And President Abraham Lincoln had to fight to put them together again. And here is a picture of the Ku Klux Klan. Look, cruz ardiente de una reunión del Ku Klux Klan en Gainesville, Florida, en 1922. But still,
Pero ellos caminaban encapuchados, vestidos de blanco, todo.
así como están ahí, así se ven ellos siempre. Así,
Sí.
estas son fotos del Ku Klux Klan. Ku Klux Klan. Seymour and Blair, que es algo histórico también. Pero sí vienen encapuchados. The Birth of a Nation. Ahí está, ese es el uniforme del Ku Klux Klan. Ahí está, la cruz ardiente es el símbolo de ellos. Miren cuántos, miren cómo está leyendo, van a
Wow.
Capitolio, el centro de gobierno de Estados Unidos en Washington, D.C., en el distrito central de Washington. Y miren cuántos del Ku Klux Klan van caminando. Ellos apoyaban a Trump. Ellos, miren, bueno, es un grupo terrible. Esto ya es nazi, eso ya es otra cosa. So the Ku Klux Klan, it's also mentioned in the history of the United States because they are part of it. You cannot mention the history of the United States without mentioning the Ku Klux Klan. They have killed so many people. It's terrible.
People in many parts of the South. Well, you can pretty much guess what came next. The slaves started rebelling. There were uprisings, and old master's head got chopped off. And when white people heard of this, they were freaking out and going, I want to live. Don't kill me, big black man. Well, just in the nick of time came Samuel Colt, who in 18...
Samuel Colt. De ahí nacieron las pistolas Colt. ¿Sí?
Time came Samuel Colt, who...
In 1836.
Who in 1836 invented the first weapon ever that could be fired over and over without having to reload. And all this other
que porque los rifles había que recargarlos, había que saber recargarlos, mientras que la pistola tenía 6 tiros de un solo. Si recargabas eran 6 de un solo, mientras que los rifles era un tiro y a recargar, y otro tiro y a recargar.
The Rots were like, yeah! But it was too late. The North soon won the Civil War and the slaves were freed. Yep.
¿Quién es ese que están chineando?
Abraham Lincoln.
Correcto, thank you, Elimar. It's Abraham Lincoln because he defended slavery. He had to fight against the other states, the other colonies, the colonies in the South, Mississippi, the Carolinas. Well, the Civil War began with a fight with the Carolinas, North Carolina against South Carolina, because South Carolina was in favor of slaves, while North Carolina didn't want slaves.
They were free now to go chop all the old masters' heads off. And everybody was like, oh no, we're gonna die. But the freed slaves took no revenge. They just wanted to live in peace. But you couldn't convince the white people of this. So they formed a...
Look, who are they?
Los del Ku Klux Klan.
Correct. ¿Por qué solo Edimar está contestando? I don't like that. I want everybody participating.
Ku Klux Klan. And in 1871, the same year the Klan became an illegal terrorist organization, another group was founded, the National Rifle Association. Soon,
Okay, the National Radical, I don't know what the A means. They were radicals. They resigned, renunciaron from the Ku Klux Klan, and they started defending the other people.
politicians passed one of the first gun laws, making it illegal for any black person to own one. It was a great year for America, the KKK and the NRA. Of course, they had nothing to do with each other, and this was just a coincidence. One group legally promoted...
Okay, ellos después entonces comenzaron bien, pero luego le quitaron el derecho a los negros de tener armas. Y empezaron a hacerse aliados del Ku Klux Klan, y más bien ellos le llevaban la gasolina.
responsible gun ownership, and the other group shot and
Ahora los pobres negros tenían dos grupos en contra.
lynched black people.
Sí.
And that's the way it was all the way to 19...
Esta me imagino que va a ser Rosa Parks, porque Rosa Parks en un bus le pasó lo que le pasó.
55, when a black woman broke the law by refusing to move to the back of the bus. What?
Sí. No va sola en realidad, pero bueno, la historia resumida es que ella no quiso dar su asiento. El bus iba lleno. La sección de negros estaba llena. La sección de blancos tenía un par de asientos. Entonces, cuando ella se subió en el asiento para blancos que había disponible. Dice que ella antes ya le había pasado algo parecido y no se resistió. Entonces, esta vez tampoco se iba a dar por vencida. Pero esta vez la metieron a la policía.
People just couldn't believe, huh? Well, I won't say no. What's going on? Man, all hell broke loose. Black people everywhere started demanding their rights.
La metieron presa y empezó un motín. Perdón, no se llama motín.
Solo por eso. Qué bárbaro.
Sí, porque ella no se levantó, ella no se quiso levantar, ella dijo que no, que había más asientos para los blancos, que el único blanco que iba parado, había donde sentarse, pero como estaba cerca de ella y era negra, no se iba a sentar cerca de la negra. Entonces, la
Yo
metieron
quería era que se levantara.
quería que se pasara a pararse atrás, en el lado de los negros, para que le dejara al blanco no solo un asiento, eran como 3 asientos que le quedaban al blanco. O sea que aún con Rosa Parks sentada, había 2 asientos más todavía, donde se podía sentar el blanco, pero estaba en la sección de los blancos, y había una negra en la sección de los blancos, entonces el blanco no se iba a sentar ahí. Entonces comenzó un boicot, que duró 1 año 15 días. Comenzó el 5 de diciembre de 1955 y terminó el 20 de diciembre de 1956. Allí esa es la historia de Rosa Parks. Ella
¿Y cuánto estuvo presa ella?
estuvo poco tiempo porque la sacaron. Intervinieron muchas fuerzas para sacarla y la sacaron la misma noche. Pero estuvo viniendo a juicio, y estuvo ese boicot. El boicot consistía en que los negros no usaban los buses del sistema público, solo los blancos. Y los negros lo que hacían era que o caminaban o se montaban en un mismo carro, montón, ¿verdad? Para irse a trabajar. Entonces ese boicot lo lograron hacer que durara 1 año y 15 días. Y entonces declararon que lo que habían hecho con Rosa Parks era injusto y entonces les empezaron a dar el derecho ya a que pudieran ellos viajar en buses, ya sin distingo, ya sin distingo de razas, sin sección para negros, sección para blancos.
And white people had a major freaky fear meltdown, and they were all like, run away, run away! And they did. They all ran fleeing to the suburbs where it was all white and safe and clean. And they went out and bought 250 million guns and put locks on the doors, alarms in the houses, and gates around the neighborhoods. And finally, they were all safe and secure and snug as a bug. And everyone lived happily ever after.
Con armas. Ok,
Y aprendimos algo de historia entonces.
ya. Y ya casi terminó, ya es hora.
Yes.
The United States of America
Oops.
emerged as an independent country after 1776 and recognized.
Sorry. Lo que quería mostrarles era, si se recuerdan, a Laura Ingalls Wilder. Me metí a la historia gringa para que pudieran entender que ella existió en el tiempo en el que estaban conquistando el oeste. She wrote 7 books from The Little House on the Prairie. Okay? The Little House books is a series of American children's novels written by Laura Ingalls Wilder, based on her childhood and adolescence in the American Midwest between 1870 and 1894. 8 of the novels were completed by Wilder and published by Harper and Brothers. No sabía que habían 8, la octava no la había conseguido entonces nunca. Yo he leído 7 siempre. Ok, y entonces está otra serie que se llama Anne of Avonlea. And I am recommending you both. This article is about the novel for the 1975 miniseries See Anne of Avonlea, for the 1987 film See Anne of Green Gables. Esta es la película, Anne of Green Gables. ¿Quieren conocer la historia? Miren la película. ¿Quieren aprender inglés? Lean los libros. Anne of Avonlea is a 1909 novel by Canadian author Lucy Maud Montgomery, published by as L.M. Montgomery. Following Anne of the Green Gables, the book covers in the 2nd chapter in the life of Anne Shirley. This book follows Anne from the age of 15 to from 16 to 18. Okay, Netflix has the series of they made it into a series, and they have 3 seasons. They should have had 7 seasons. Somebody told me last night that they will not continue with the other seasons, and that almost made me cry. Why? Because I love these books. You don't know how much you can learn from Anne from Avonlea or The Little House on the Prairie. And you can be learning English from or with and with an E. That is the same Anne of Avonlea. Es el mismo el libro de Anne with an E, Ada of Avonlea. Ya les comparto la pantalla para que vean a qué me refiero. Durante sus vacaciones ustedes pueden buscarlo, abrirlo, escucharlo, repetir y aprender. Aquí dice Learn English with TV Series, and with an E. Aquí le podemos hacer un pedacito o pedacitos del capítulo 7, 6 de la primera temporada.
People would laugh at me because I use big words, but they're exciting and descriptive words, like enraptured and glorious.
Ahí Anne está enseñando inglés. No es su intención, pero la serie se prestó precisamente. Fíjense, al principio ya menciona otra palabra, el primero principio.
People would
People will laugh at me because I use big words.
laugh at me because I use big words, but they're exciting and
But they are exciting. Big words are exciting and descriptive words. Okay? Like in rapture. Rapture, sin la N, sin la N. Rapture y sin la D. Rapture es un estado de una emoción como encantamiento. Usted está encantado con algo. Por fin le llegó la noticia que esperó por años. Y usted está en rapture. Está en rapture. Tiene rapture. Glorious. Y menciona una más.
descriptive words like enraptured and glorious. If you have big ideas, you have to use big words to express them, haven't you?
If you have big ideas, you have to use big words to express them. Haven't you? Usa haven't porque dice if you have big ideas.
Well,
He is adopting her. He and his sister. He has a sister and they have no children. He didn't get married. The sister never got married. They live alone. They are looking for a boy and they asked to the company of adoption for a boy, but they send them this girl and that changes the whole thing.
I suppose so.
For example,
Ahora ella va a usar las dos palabras más una más en una oración.
I am enraptured by this glorious landscape.
See, I am enraptured by this glorious landscape. ¿Qué es landscape? Paisaje. Yo estoy encantada por lo glorioso, por este glorioso paisaje. By this glorious landscape.
Careful. Careful.
And with Anita. Se llama la serie. Si la buscan, si tienen Netflix o aquí en no sé cuánto hay grabado en YouTube. No les puedo prometer.
En YouTube. Yo la podría ver en YouTube.
Sí, no sé cuánto hay, pero búsquela, tal vez la encuentra, no sé cuánto hay. Como le repito, en Netflix yo tengo hasta la temporada 3 y dicen que ya no va a haber más. Qué triste. Pero sí he visto esto que estoy sacando ahorita es de YouTube. Pero esto es con el objetivo de aprender inglés, de continue practicing your English.
I'm super excited to bring you a lesson you requested with one of the best series for English learners.
Okay? She is the teacher. And she's excited because she's teaching with one of the series, that the best series for English learners, Anne with an E.
Anne with an E. This is a teenage family-friendly show based on a well-known children's book by Canadian author L.M. Montgomery called Anne of Green Gables.
Eso es lo que decía, los libros originales se llaman Anne of Green Gables, aquí están. Yo los leí allá por 91, 92. Little House on the Prairie sí los había leído años antes, bien mis 30 años antes de eso. No tanto como eso, no. Tal vez unos 6 años antes había leído Little House on the Prairie. Entonces, Anne of Green
Pero esa antes la pasaban en películas, ¿va?
Sí,
Me parece que
todavía.
yo las había
Esa-
visto más.
Esa es la de la casita de la pradera, sí la tienen aquí, la pueden
Sí,
ver,
sí.
pero la tiene que andar rebuscándose.
Ujú.
Entonces, si buscan los libros de Anne of Green Gables, están también en online gratis. Ya están, ya hay una compañía que los lanzó gratis. Anne of Green Gables. Pueden leerlos ahí. Les prometo. I really promise with my hand up. I'm gonna stop sharing screen so you can see me with my hand up. I promise that you will learn. You will learn to pronounce words, new words, vocabulary words, new grammar structure. You will be practicing. I hope, I will beg you to please study with this TV series and others that I have been giving you here. Even in the YouTube, it's easy, it's nice. This is lovely.
You can learn lots of great vocabulary just by reading the titles of the
Look at this. You can learn lots of great vocabulary just by reading the titles of the episodes. Con solo los títulos de los episodios van aprendiendo vocabulario.
episodes. So if you plan to sit
Esta es la primera temporada, los 7 capítulos de la primera temporada.
an exam or are looking for something to enrich your vocabulary, this is the show for you. Just like this learner who improved their skills and got an 8.5 band.
¿Sí? Ese es alguien que ve los videos de ella y le escribió y le dijo, I am improving, mejorando, my speaking and listening skills. What are skills?
Habilidades.
Habilidades.
Habilidades, técnicas, destrezas, ¿ok? On top of that, I got 8.5. Digamos que es 85% from IELTS. Es un tipo de examen de lectura. Because of you. Thanks a ton. Una tonelada de gracias.
Band on the IELTS exam. Besides that, we also help you to understand your favorite TV series and movies without getting lost, without missing the jokes, and without subtitles.
Back to Anne. She's a 13-year-old girl who became orphaned when her parents died while she was still a baby.
Who can understand that? Back to Anne. De regreso a Anne. Con eso terminamos.
Mister,
Huh?
when classes end?
Next week, next Friday.
Okay, thanks.
¿Ok? ¿Qué dice aquí? ¿Quién quiere traducir?
Es una niña de 13 años que se convirtió en orfanata, en huérfano, perdón, cuando sus padres murieron cuando ella todavía era una bebé.
Thank you. Perfect. Perfect. That's the way you have your own skills already, Rocio. So, and the others, that you have your skills, you will improve them. You will learn much more, I promise you. And I know we didn't practice like conversation today, but I wanted to introduce you these books, these 2 series of books, The Little House of the Prairie and Anne of Green Gables, so you can practice. And also the chance that you have in YouTube to see both, because you can see the other one, Little House on the Prairie. And tomorrow I'll show you other types of pages that you can use to improve your skills. So when we come back in January, of course, we will continue the following days with the conversations we have every day, with the modifications and everything. Like yesterday, for example, that we learned many things about, ¿de dónde es Otilia? De
Abuelito Santa Bárbara, creo.
Apuelizo, that is correct. Or Irma from Choloma. Or Cindy from Tegucigalpa. Or Eddie Marlene from Tegucigalpa. Well,
Tegucigalpa.
You were born in Tegucigalpa.
Yes.
I was born in Tegucigalpa. Okay. See you tomorrow. Have a great night.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks for your patience. See you, Wanda. Wanda nunca nos...
Bye.
Bye-bye.